is a parent to two alumni, Ella, the class of 2015, and Gigi, class of 2022, as well as a son, Charlie, who graduated from St. Christopher's in 2016. So she has run the whole gambit of the St. Catherine's and the Saints experiences. She's held numerous volunteer roles at St. Catherine's and currently is president of the St. Catherine's Ellett Board National Alumni Board, which researches and votes for all the recipients that you will see today for the Alumni Association Awards. So please join me in welcoming her to the stage to present the first of the two awards.
Thank you. Thank you for that very, very warm welcome. I'm going to flip my tab. Oh, it was already flipped. Thank you. Here we go. Perfect. Laura is the keeper of all things, so this is great. Thank you, Cindy. It is my honor to be here today to present the first two awards. The descriptions for each are listed in the program that you have, along with the previous winners of the awards. Anne Charity-Hudley, class of 1994, attended St. Catherine's for 13 years, where she was senior class president and a member of the Cum Laude Society. I'm going to practice my best linguistics in highlighting her accomplishments, so bear with me. Dr. Charity-Hudley earned her BA and MA in linguistics from Harvard and her PhD in linguistics from UPenn. From 2011 to 2017, she was the director of the William & Mary Scholars Program at William & Mary. Subsequently, she served as the endowed chair in the linguistics of African America at University of California, Santa Barbara, where she also served as the director of undergraduate research, vice chair of the Council of Planning and Budget, and faculty fellow for the Center for Innovative Teaching, Research, and Learning. Oh, it goes on. Currently, Dr. Charity-Hudley is Stanford University's Associate Dean of Educational Affairs, Professor of Education, and Professor of African American Studies and Linguistics. Dr. Charity-Hudley's research and publications address the relationship between language variation and educational practices and policies from preschool through graduate school, with an emphasis on creating high-impact practices for underrepresented students in higher education. Dr. Charity-Hudley has an impressive publication record in a variety of journals and has co-authored 2 books. She is a fellow of the Linguistic Society of America and the American Association for the Advancement of Science. Her professional contributions have been recognized with a number of honors and awards, 12 fellowships and grants, and invitations to deliver numerous keynote addresses and speak at academic meetings. She provides lectures and workshops for K-12 teachers, and she generously contributes to community initiatives and public intellectual work. She has served on the Linguistic Society of America and the Standing Committee on Research of the National Council of Teachers of English, and has consulted with the National Research Council Committee on Language and Education and the Committee on Broadening Participation in the Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics, STEM sciences. She has served as an associate editor for language and on the editorial board of Language and Linguistics Compass and the Linguistic Society of America Committee on Linguistics in Higher Education. Of her life's work, Charity-Hudley says, "I hope to be able to educate teachers about the validity of dialects and help them see that just because a student's grammar may vary from the standard, it is not bad grammar. For her contributions to furthering understanding of the relationship between language variation and educational practices and policies, we are pleased to present the 2024 Distinguished Alumna Award to Dr. Anne Charity-Hudley.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes, there you go.
Thanks, everyone. Family, friends, fellow saints, this is quite an honor. I'd like to thank the Alumni Association in particular for nominating me and working hard to keep me connected to St. Catherine's. I want to thank all of my former teachers who could be here today and those who couldn't. I was sitting yesterday as a true linguist, poring over every word of this talk, and my husband dumped a lot of my themes into ChatGPT and came up with a pretty decent version. So, if you need it straight from Silicon Valley, if you haven't heard yet, the world's about to change once again. So I decided, let me make sure I have a talk that ChatGPT does not have the large language models yet to create. It's based on memories that only we would have. The smell of paper mache paste on those little plastic wands. We thought we were creating art when we were really building worlds. Being introduced in the lower school library to the computer language logos as a special activity, and thinking about that yesterday as I was helping my oldest niece finish her honors thesis on the honors theory track in computer science at Stanford. Yes, Black girls can code. We learned to sing right on this stage. And that taught us to blend with others and to also be ready in this world when that baton drops. On this particular stage, we as 6-year-olds recited A.A. Milne as we dreamed of being kings. Our generation represented a version of hope that had never been seen before in these halls. You gotta read this biography. It's of Doug Wilder, When Hell Froze Over, the untold story of Doug Wilder's rise to political power in the South by Dwayne Yancey. And he goes in detail to describe us. Us, sitting in the former Turner Hall Chapel, listening to history change. And what was so historic about it was, yes, a Black man was about to become the first governor since Reconstruction, but that wasn't the most formidable history. The formidable history was that not every girl agreed with him or his message, but we were there, deliberating and practicing democracy. So my main message today is that it only seems fitting if democracy truly started to be born in this place, y'all, we better be some of the ones to help save it. I think about that. I think about that a lot in my current role. Stanford, like St. Catherine's, truly runs the political spectrum. I have to be steadfast about what I believe it means to be educated in this world. And as I told some of my colleagues when they asked, how do you do this job? I told them, you know what, I didn't learn it all in kindergarten, but I certainly learned what I needed to know by 12th grade. With such a transformational example that we have lived, I just cannot give up on the hope that our democracy will be saved by education. We have to help St. Catherine's and other independent schools and all other schools keep the things we didn't even think about. Banned books weeks, topics, and information flowing to students based on their curiosity, connecting them to this whole world. We in this room benefited from those experiences, and we cannot let that carpet roll up behind us. It would truly be the shame of our lifetimes. I advise several scholars who focus on religious education. Can you believe it? Some of them are all the way professors. And I also often tell them about my favorite part of chapel, which was the benedictions of all things. So I decided to write one for them and you with a modified twist. A benediction for Barbara Tan Mitchell-Gordon, who received this award posthumously, and all who miss and mourn her. For all the others who can't be with us today, just in spirit, but in memory, especially those from our time, Ann Maddox, Shakira Lynn Fields, and Addie Armfield, they were the ones in our youth who taught us that life is precious. For every girl who was brave and unique enough to walk these halls a bit more alone than some of us who came with our whole families and legacies, right? Your experiences have shaped my life's work more than I can even say. For every girl who has encountered challenges here and was let go rather than pulled in. For everyone who is still bound by historic legacies of hatred and ignorance. It's not too late to liberate your experiences. We are still all learning how. That is the power of nostalgia and memory to inspire change. And for the limitless possibilities every senior class leaves this space with. For the alumni in this room who came after 94, we are still messy and learning. Keep moving, keep working, go see the world while you're young. Go do something bold. For the alumni who preceded 94, help us out. What can you teach us as we squarely try to find our place in this world? And for all of us, I want you to do something for me. Reach out to a former classmate that you didn't know so well or who isn't here today. Check on them. See how they're doing. Maybe you talked to them like a year ago, or maybe it was 20 years ago. My Harvard classmate, our Surgeon General of the United States, Vivek Murthy, has shown us that despite our advances, we are living in an epidemic of loneliness that sometimes we can't even see. So I want to tell you a story about that power of connection. I moved to California for a great big job on an academic track, and as soon as I kind of moved, I got diagnosed with lung cancer and then brain cancer. Now, I was saved by the advances of modern medicine, let me tell you, for sure, as these drastic sounding illnesses now become chronic conditions. But I was healed by the gifts, the messages, and the visits from so many people, including so many of my St. Catherine's classmates. I'm gonna tell you a story in particular. I was still in the hospital, in and out of consciousness, and Kim Lichtenberg Maxwell, also the class of 94, who I went to super highlight, has already won this award for bringing the rover to Mars and driving it around, showed up at the hospital, City of Hope, what a name, not far from the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, and she brought me an orchid. So after the orchid got out of quarantine, I decided that the one time in my life, for truth, when they told me I could not work, what I could do was take care of this orchid. I decided I could do my best to take care of that orchid and even try to outlive it, and both have happened. So I'll leave you with a line from Chaucer, who built on Hippocrates, that many of us learned from Ms. Mimi Oppenheimer, who sponsored me for the Virginia Humanities Governor's School, opened me up to friendship and a line of work that has informed my life. The life's so short, the craft's so long to learn. Ars longa, vita brevis. It was true 30 years ago, and I truly feel it right now. Thank you.